But first, is driving abroad, plain and simple, a man's job? Many women fear driving abroad, with nearly half saying that they will never attempt it. UK women are far more worried than men about getting behind the wheel overseas. 73% have never done it. And of the women who have driven abroad, more women than men said it was more difficult than driving at home. So is driving abroad beyond the wit of women? Let's talk to Mike Buchanan, founder of Justice for Men and Boys and the Women Who Love Them. Mike, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, Mike.
What do you make of this, then? Is this down to confidence, then?
It is, I think. Women are just more prone to anxiety than men, so we've got to ask, why should they be encouraged to do something that makes them more anxious?
Is that true, that they're more prone to anxiety?
Of course they are, and of course they are. Yeah, but you'll see even in the UK, Mike. I mean, how often do you see women driving in preference to their partners, unless it's for a very good reason, such as the man's been drinking? Very rarely. I mean, at the end of the day, men and women are different, and given free choices, they'll make different decisions. I mean, there's no problem here which needs solving.
But isn't it because we're still in 2014? We're kind of telling women that they're no good at driving.
No one's telling women. Women are simply, are responding to their levels of anxiety, in stressful situations. So are we really saying that, particularly abroad, that a woman should be somehow encouraged or forced to drive, which will make her anxious?
Yes,
and her partner anxious? It's completely crazy.
Shouldn't we be doing more to encourage women and tell them that, in fact, their driving is just as good as a man's?
No, we shouldn't. I mean, we should let men and women be. It's just ridiculous. This narrative that women need to be encouraged to do this. They need role models for that. There need to be government programs for the other, and so on. I mean, who pays for all these initiatives? Men in the main, who pay 72% of the income tax. I mean, what's wrong with women? Are they individuals or sheep?
Well, let's bring in Liz Turner, who's a motoring journalist and blogger. Morning to you, Liz.
Morning.
Say hello to Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Liz.
I think you probably caught the tail end of what he was saying there.
Yes, I would. I think one of the problems with sexism is it's so casual and people don't know they're doing it. So when you're driving as a woman and your husband is constantly making comments, it's like taking your driving test every day. And that's why a lot of women don't drive, because they're so fed up with, you could get in a different gear there and you could go a little faster there. So I think there ought to be this new safety gadget, which is called a man seat, and it straps his hands down so he can't keep fiddling with everything, and it sort of covers his mouth so he can't keep commenting.
So there we are, Mike. It's a confidence thing. We keep nagging on.
Absolute nonsense. I mean, I've never heard such. It's just crazy. I mean, I'm reminded of the this thing about women are terrific drivers, and it's dear.
How do you know it's rubbish if you haven't experienced it?
I've experienced plenty of I've had a number of partners who've driven, and all of them have been perfectly happy for me to drive.
No, but have they commented on every move you make, which is unfortunately something men tend to do to women?
A couple of them have. Because
and how did you feel about that?
Apparently every male driver in the country drives too fast.
I'm not saying that at all, but I do know a lot of women who don't drive because their husbands are such a pain, and that's a real shame, because I love driving, and I know a lot of women who love driving too.
Well, of course you do, because of the work you do, Liz. But most women are perfectly happy to let men drive them about. I mean, they're being chauffeured, for God's sake. I mean, what's not to like?
Oh, come on, but Mike, women are safer drivers. We know that, don't we? There are fewer accidents.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because when people say that, I'm reminded of the Jasper Carrot story about how his mother had learned to drive in middle age. She passed a driving test after a few attempts, and whenever she was parked at the side of the road and wanted to pull out, she remembered that she had to look in the rearview mirror first. So she looked in the mirror, but pulled out regardless of what was or wasn't coming behind her. Now, she'd never had an accident, but she'd seen hundreds.
So do you base most decisions in your life on Jasper Carrot sketches? I don't.
Of course. It's the only way to live.
No, I know a lot of women who are suffering what I'm describing. I'm not making it up. And I think all men and women need to do is respect each other in the car. And, if women just, be a little bit more forceful and men back off a bit, I think we'd all be happier in the car.
Yeah, well,
and maybe have fewer children being sick in the back like I was when I was a kid.
Liz, are you really saying that women are not more prone to anxiety than men?
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think perhaps women are, which is another reason to leave them alone to get on with their driving.
Well, look, you keep bringing this up, Mike. Are you saying that in life generally women are more prone to anxiety?
Of course.
Well, I'm not sure that's true.
I don't have any statistics on that. I think that too many women lack confidence and self-esteem, and that's something they need to build up. And, that is our job.
And how do we do that, Liz?
Well, I think we need more respect for each other. It would really help. And I think for women to sort of read books, look at other people who achieve great things and say, I could do that.
And so men probably don't know they're doing this nagging a lot of the time and undermining confidence, and so they should think very carefully about what they say.
Yeah, I mean, even my own partner, we had to have a discussion about it, and he had no idea that he was getting on my nerves.
What was he saying?
Oh, the classic things. Oh, you could have gone then, or, I'd be in a higher gear, or,
constant.
Constant nagging.
All right, Liz, thank you very much. Liz Turner, who's a motoring journalist and blogger, Mike Buchanan, as well, founder of Justice for Men and Boys. So, I'd love to get your comments on this then. Come on, I'll allow you to tell me this much. Does your other half, does your man constantly make those little remarks that just undermine your confidence? I would have gone into a higher gear there, or I would have pulled out there. Because we'd never say such comments, Dave, would we?
That's a bit sexist. Does your man ever do this? My wife does that to me all the time.
Oh, so it can happen both ways?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. She's the one who is by far the person who does the lion's share of the driving, because it's easier that way.
But she's also a backseat driver?
Yes. Yeah, even when she's in the front. You get a lot of sharp intakes of breath from the... and huffs and puffs as well. So there you go.